The Philippines is one of the most naturally beautiful countries in the world, but it also sits in a part of the planet where nature is active, unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous. Foreigners looking to live, retire, or spend long periods of time in the Philippines often ask one big question: should they be worried about natural disasters? The answer is not simple because it depends on knowledge, preparation, location, and perspective. But one thing is clear: natural disasters are part of the geography, not the identity, of the Philippines. They exist, but they do not define daily life. Millions of Filipinos live peacefully every day, and so do hundreds of thousands of expats. Understanding the risks, the systems in place, and the mindset of the people will help you see the full picture. Let's begin with the geography. The Philippines sits on what is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire, a giant horseshoe-shaped zone stretching from Japan down to Southeast Asia and across to the Americas. This region is known for earthquakes, volcanic activity, and occasional tsunamis. The country is also located in a path where tropical storms naturally pass through. This combination puts the Philippines in the global spotlight for natural hazards. But the experience of living here is very different from the dramatic image often presented in the media. Disasters are talked about a lot, but the actual impact on foreigners living normal lives varies depending on where they stay, how they prepare, and how closely they follow local guidelines. Typhoons are perhaps the most famous natural disasters associated with the Philippines. The country experiences around 20 storms every year, but only a few are intense. Even then, most of the destructive storms hit specific regions, while the rest of the country experiences nothing more than heavy rain. Many foreigners imagine that typhoons strike the entire country at once, but this is not the reality. Typhoons are regional. For example, northern Luzon gets more storms, the Visayas get a moderate number, and Mindanao gets very few. If a foreigner chooses to live in Cebu, Davao, Cagayan, de Oro, or Dumaguete, the experience of typhoons is mild compared to someone living in Bicol or Isabela. Geography matters, and choosing the right location can significantly reduce your exposure to intense weather. Another important point is that the Philippines has become extremely advanced in storm forecasting. Government agencies issue warnings days in advance. Schools are suspended, flights are adjusted, fishermen are warned, and local communities mobilize early. Filipinos are among the most experienced people in the world when it comes to preparing for storms, and they treat preparation seriously. Foreigners living here simply need to follow instructions, avoid unnecessary travel during storm season, and stock basic supplies. Most expats who follow these guidelines rarely face any danger. Earthquakes are another area of concern. The Philippines experiences small tremors regularly, but strong earthquakes are rare. Most quakes are so weak that people do not even notice them. When a stronger one does occur, building standards in urban areas like Manila, Cebu, and Davao follow modern earthquake-resistant designs inspired by Japan and California. Foreigners who come from countries with no earthquakes may feel uneasy at first, but over time, they learn to respond calmly, just like locals. The government regularly conducts nationwide earthquake drills, and communities are trained to know what to do. Awareness and simple precautions make a huge difference in safety. Volcanoes are another natural feature that attracts attention. While the Philippines has several volcanoes, only a few are considered active, and even then, they are monitored constantly. Agencies like Five Elks track volcanic activity with sensors, satellites, and field teams. If a volcano begins showing unusual movement, warnings are issued early. Evacuations are organized quickly, often days before any eruption occurs. Foreigners who avoid choosing homes directly inside known danger zones are extremely unlikely to encounter serious volcanic risk. The truth is that locals already know which areas are safe, and foreigners simply need to follow the same common sense. Flooding is more common, especially in older or low-lying areas. Manila experiences floods during heavy rains, partly due to aging drainage systems and the natural shape of the land. However, foreigners can avoid these problems by choosing the right neighborhoods. Modern condos, higher elevation districts, and newly developed cities like BGC, Cebu Park, and Davao City are far less affected. Most flooding lasts only a few hours to a day before water naturally drains away. Choosing the right home eliminates most of the concern. One of the most misunderstood risks is tsunamis. Many foreigners imagine that a tsunami could hit anywhere in the Philippines at any time. In reality, tsunamis require strong underwater earthquakes in very specific locations, and historically, they are extremely rare. The country has an entire monitoring network dedicated to detecting early signs of tsunamis. Alarms, sirens, and SMS alerts are in place along vulnerable coastlines. Foreigners can easily avoid higher-risk areas by living inland or in elevated zones. Many expats choose to live in places like Valencia in Negros Oriental, upland Cebu, or mountainside areas in Davao, where tsunami risk is practically zero. Now here's the part most people miss. The Philippines has one of the best community-based disaster response cultures in the world. Filipino communities are used to helping each other during crises. Neighbors assist neighbors, barangay leaders coordinate relief efforts, and local governments activate response teams immediately. Foreigners often express surprise at how quickly the community mobilizes. Instead of chaos, they see cooperation. Instead of panic, they see calm organization. This community spirit makes foreigners feel safer than they expected. Another important factor is the mindset. Filipinos live with natural hazards their entire lives. Because of this, they do not treat natural disasters as constant threats. They treat them as events that require preparation, patience, and community effort. This attitude helps foreigners adopt a healthier perspective. The fear decreases as knowledge increases. The anxiety decreases as experience builds. Foreigners learn to prepare the same way locals do, turning worry into confidence. Foreigners also find comfort in the reality that millions of people continue living normally despite these hazards. Cities are booming, tourism is thriving, businesses grow, and communities remain strong. The presence of natural disasters does not paralyze life in the Philippines. People adapt, prepare, rebuild, and continue living fully. Many foreigners eventually say that life in the Philippines feels safer than life in their home country in other ways. There is less violent crime than many Western cities. There is more community support. There is more emotional warmth. Nature may be active, but society is caring. Some foreigners choose to live in regions with fewer natural hazards. Davao, for example, is known as one of the safest areas from typhoons and has minimal earthquake activity. Many expats live in Iloilo for the same reason. Others choose elevated areas around Tagaytay, Valencia, or Baguio to avoid flood zones and enjoy cooler climates. With informed choices, natural disaster risk becomes manageable and predictable. Another point worth noting is that natural disasters often look worse on international news than they feel on the ground. Media focuses on the most dramatic angles because that is how news works. But expats living in the Philippines frequently say that life continues normally before, during, and after these events. Foreigners who rely only on news from outside the country often imagine a constant crisis, which is far from reality. The truth is quieter, slower, and more balanced. Preparation is the key. Foreigners living in the Philippines are advised to have basic emergency supplies like bottled water, flashlights, power banks, canned food, and a small first aid kit. These are simple items that cost very little but provide peace of mind. Many foreigners also follow local online groups, weather pages, and government advisories to stay informed. Staying updated removes 90% of the fear. One of the most powerful reasons foreigners continue choosing the Philippines despite natural disasters is the emotional richness of life here. The warmth of the people, the sense of community, the climate, the beauty of the islands, and the slower pace of life all create a quality of living that outweighs the risks. The Philippines offers something many countries have lost: connection. Foreigners feel seen, welcomed, and included. This emotional safety often matters more than natural hazards. So, should foreigners be worried about natural disasters in the Philippines? The honest answer is that they should be aware, but not afraid. Respect nature, but do not let fear control your life. Prepare wisely, but do not obsess. Choose your location carefully, follow local advice, and stay informed. When you do that, the risk becomes manageable, predictable, and small compared to the overall experience of living in this beautiful country. Living in the Philippines is about balance. The country has storms, but it also has sunshine, calm seas, fresh food, and friendly smiles. It has earthquakes, but it also has vibrant cities and peaceful countryside landscapes. It has challenges, but it offers a lifestyle full of joy, simplicity, and connection. Foreigners who embrace this balance often find that the Philippines is not just a place to visit, but a place to belong. Natural disasters exist, but life here goes on with strength, grace, and community. With awareness and respect, foreigners can enjoy the Philippines fully and safely.